I've decided to do a series on trademark law. And the reason I made that decision was because trademarks are so important to businesses. They are one of your most valuable, if not the most valuable asset that your business has. This series is going to be broken into 4 parts. Part 1 is going to be about trademark value. That's what we're going to talk about today. Part 2 will be about protecting your trademarks. Part 3 will be choosing really good, strong trademarks that'll grow in value as your business grows. And Part 4 will be about maintaining your trademarks' value. Now, it's important to appreciate that every business has trademarks, and trademarks are synonymous with brands. They're the same, they can be used interchangeably, except that trademark law is the area of law, trademarks, that protect your brand. In preparing for this talk, I found a couple of quotes that I found very interesting. This is a quote by Steve Forbes, chairman and editor-in-chief of Forbes Media. And he said, "Your brand is the single most important investment you can make in your business." And I agree with that 100%. Jeff Bezos made the statement that a brand for a company is like a reputation for a person. You earn reputation by trying to do hard things well. And I agree with that. It really is the identity of your business. When people think about your business, they think about your brand, your company name, your products names, your services names, and they know what to expect. And when they get good results, they want more of those. They want to refer people to you because they got good results. And all of that goodwill is associated with your trademark, your brand. The interesting development over the last couple of decades is how intangible assets have taken over in value as compared to tangible assets. Forbes recently commented that over the last decade, the value of businesses has shifted from physical assets like real estate, equipment, factories, to intangible assets. And those intangible assets are, for the most part, not completely, but for the most part, made up of intellectual property. Trademarks, copyrights, trade secrets, and patents. And of those, trademarks is one of the most prominent and probably the most valuable of those other 3 categories of intellectual property. Recently, within the last year or 2, Ocean Tomo, which is a very reputable IP, intellectual property valuation firm in Chicago, Illinois, released a report where they studied the value of businesses. And in that report, they said that intangible assets are now commanding 90% of the Standard & Poor's 500, the S&P 500 market value. That's a big number, 90%. And even if you question that number, even if it's 75%, 50%, even a third of the value of your business is wrapped up in intangibles, it's still a big number, and it's something that you need to pay attention to, and it's something that you need to take care of and protect. And within that number is your trademarks. In my representation of businesses, I've seen the value of trademarks. I have been involved in a number of mergers and acquisitions where the companies purchasing the other company was mainly interested in the intellectual property. And they typically came right out in the beginning and said, the reason we are purchasing your business is because of the intellectual property portfolio that you have. The other things that you have built, the factories, the equipment, those can all be replaced. Those can all be recreated. But it's the intellectual property that we're most interested in because that has inherent value to us in purchasing your business and expanding it. A few have come right out and said, we're interested in buying your business name because that is a representation of the goodwill associated with your business, and that's what we're after. And in each of those situations, the companies being purchased commanded a lot higher value because of their trademarks and because they had taken the proper steps in protecting those trademarks so that any purchaser coming in has confidence that what they're purchasing is as protected as it can be, not just in the United States, but in other countries as well, and has value, and that value is as unquestionable as it can be at the time of purchase. And that's what we're going to talk about in part 2 of this series. What steps do you need to take to protect this incredibly valuable asset? Thank you for listening. I look forward to seeing you very soon next week when we begin part 2.